and share the screen. Slideshow from the beginning. Woohoo! Here we are, March 3rd, 2021. Thank you, Joyce, for being here and greeting everybody. It's always nice to see everybody in the morning. Mark Reese, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
I would be happy to. Please join me in the pledge. Ready, begin. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, a nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mark.
Welcome, thank you.
Dan, do you have something for us to ponder today? Words of wisdom.
I do. Some of the schools are getting back in session in person, and others are still going to be continuing virtually. But I found this quote by H.L. Mencken: "The best teacher is not the one who knows most, but the one who is most capable of reducing knowledge to that simple compound of the obvious and wonderful."
Thank you.
Very nice.
Very good. So, Joe.
So, Barbara.
So I found this picture because this is what we sound like. So let's go for it.
Not that good.
You think we sound that good?
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm a
we
cat.
do.
I screech.
All right. Well, I don't know. Those of you who've noticed, I know Terry has, baseball season starting.
Ah.
And there's been some stuff in the paper, early spring training going on, and all sorts of speculation about who's going to do what to who. So that said, you know what's coming. Take me out to the ball game. So here we go. Take me out to the ball game. Me out to the crowd. I need some nuts and cracker jack. I don't care if I never get the whole team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes out.
Woohoo! Woohoo! Gotta love it. So do we have any cyber Rotarians with us this morning? I don't think so. I don't think we have any cyber guests, do we? Nope. So, good morning, everybody. It's good to see you. And I get to mute you all. Yes. There we go. Yes. Takes me a few clicks, folks. There we go. No birthdays this week. No anniversaries this week. But we do have one Rotary anniversary. Marnie, pay attention. Unmute yourself.
Okay.
It's your Rotary anniversary this week. Tomorrow.
How time flies when you're having fun.
It's been a rather unusual Rotary year, but is there anything that stands out that you just really think of when it gives you the warm fuzzies?
All my new friends and associates and the fabulous speakers you have and you share.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then hopefully next year, things will be a little different and we can meet in person and go back to Rotary travel and doing all the other stuff that really, really makes Rotary so enriching. But yeah, friends all over the world.
Yes.
Jerry was mentioning this morning that he was talking to his friend in Uganda. It's amazing what we can do. So here's what's going on. I have these raffles up here again, but don't forget March 14th. leap forward, change your clocks. But you know what else March 14th is, folks? Pie Day. So eat pie, whether it's pizza or apple or pumpkin. Eat pie on Pie Day. Nothing else terribly new or exciting. We'll talk more about what we're going to do for World Water Day when we figure that out. And the same thing for Earth Day, because we're hoping that for both of those days, we'll do something special as a project, as hands-on. Maybe clean up a highway. And March is Water and Sanitation Month. So each month Rotary has a theme, and this month it's water and sanitation. So announcements. David, Mark Raymond.
Yep, I'm going to PETS. Jerry Meshlam is going to be teaching me all I need to know about being president. I've been online, actually, quite a bit, taking classes and preparing and hoping not to let you all down. I know that you're going to be looking forward to this as a year you will be forgetting for the rest of your lives.
And I'm sorry you don't have the experience of attending PETS with everybody else. And c'est la vie.
I'm going to carry Jerry's suitcase in next year.
Okay.
Hey, David, here's my background is a picture of 600 attendees at PETS getting ready for the opening session. So that's what it looks like.
There you go. Make me feel better. Thank you.
Was that last year, Jerry, or just
I think I pulled this from 2012 or something. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Nice.
It'll be interesting to see how that goes as an online event, but I'll be in my seat for quite a while.
So when does it officially start?
Friday evening it convenes.
Okay, and it's over, they're still doing a Sunday morning session?
Yes, I believe so, and I'll try. It'll be over when I turn my computer off, which won't be for a while.
Have fun.
There is good support, by the way. All of the great stuff. There's great support and online classes to prepare us, and all the presidents in the district have been meeting on an ongoing basis for the last couple of months.
Okie dokie. So Michael Cook, do you want to give us a little quickie update on our fundraising effort? Actually, you can stretch it out. This is kind of a slow news week.
So we're coming up with auction ideas, and the latest one I've heard of was an offer to build a garden shed, but maybe use some student input, so design and details to be produced. But one thing we need help with is naming the event. And part of the inspiration is we think the paddle raise bit will be focused on getting some added equipment for the truck that the River Alliance uses when they clean up and haul away trash from the Russian River area. They could, in a day, pick up 4,000 pounds of trash, and in this case, literally pick them up because they have to load the bags into the truck. And we're looking at getting them a lift gate or possibly a winch. So we know we're just gathering information on how much that would cost, but we think it's in the 5,000 to 10,000 range. So we hope to raise enough funds, or at least contribute mightily towards enabling them to do that. So maybe that'll inspire you with an idea like, let's do some heavy lifting for the community, or I don't know what, but something that would be catchy and allow us to publicize the event.
So when do you meet next?
Right after this meeting today, and every Wednesday right after the meeting until the event occurs.
Yes, so we'll take a short, you can just stay on the Zoom, but we'll take a short meeting or short break and then reconvene about 8:45, right?
We're gonna go for right after the meeting
Oh,
because
right after today.
people have other things to do, and if we can
Okay.
wrap up by 9, that would make everybody happy.
Okay, so it's going to be a short meeting, so stick around and become creative.
Hey, Barbara, can I add to that for a second?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, so as Michael was saying, part of our program involves driving around on 2 different days of the week. We have a trash service for the homeless, and it's been expanding as time goes on. We get more intel, or we get more people getting referred to us. So just for instance, last Thursday was rather a banner day. They're not always this big, but we almost picked up 4,000 pounds.
Wow.
Just last Tuesday. And that's about 35 to 40 bags of trash that's staged for us. It's not loose trash or anything else. This is all bag trash that's put out and collected by homeless folks. On Tuesdays, it's Windsor and Healdsburg is our route. And on Thursdays, we have trash service in the lower river from, Forestville down to Monterey. And on a typical day, we don't pick up as much on the lower river because we've been doing the trash service for longer, and we have more control over the camps and the cleanups and stuff like that. We have more participation because, we've been doing it down here for a while. So by the time you get a couple of bags in the back of the truck, they're the easy ones because you could usually slip them in through the back tailgate. But once you have to shut that tailgate and lift the bags up higher and higher, they get heavier, and sometimes they're just heavy. We average anywhere from 30 to 45 to 50-pound bags.
Wow.
Of trash, and sometimes we have to unload the bags just so that we can get them up. And I say we, but we have 2 great people currently working that program. One of the persons, her name is Carol Shoemate, and she's started out with us as a volunteer years ago and now is working full-time for it's Russian Riverkeeper, and the name of the project is called the Clean Team. So
Yep.
Just a little information on that. And then I just wanted to go back for just a second. There is signups, and we do have a location for March 20th cleanup. Just to throw that out there, you can go to South Ukiah Rotary's website, and there's signups for the Laguna. And Bill Sauber is going to be leading a group over there on Morris Street, staging over near the baseball courts. There'll be more information on where to meet on the website. But please go sign up. We're trying to keep our numbers low there, and we're trying to keep that location just for Sebastopol Sunrise or Sebastopol Rotary members. So I believe there's between 6 and 10 spots available for signups on the South Ukiah Rotary's website, and starting at 8:30 to noon approximately. And there's signups for people to get there early to kind of help Bill set up, hand out supplies and stuff like that. And then there's certainly a little time after the event collecting the trash and getting that disposed of. So March 20th, Morris Street, 8:30 in the morning till noon. Officially, it starts at 9:30. Signups at South Ukiah Rotary's website, and it's active now.
Chris, can you get that link to Jim good enough so he can put it on our website so we don't have to look all over Hell's Half Acre for it?
Well, the
Actually,
link, no,
Chris, I'll send it out to everybody this morning. How's that?
Okay, yeah, it's real easy. You'll see right on the South Ukiah's website on their
Right.
main page is a big ad for the cleanup and all kinds of cool stuff about it. So, yeah, and it should have went out to all the Rotary presidents in this district. So, but All right.
I haven't seen it yet, so, okay, goody. Thank you. That's exciting. Yay. So Diana Curtis.
Yes, I'll unmute. Well, this is something that we started to become engaged in. Our Rotary International has asked us to increase our public understanding of Rotary and drive engagement within our community. And to do that, the Rotary Noon Club has asked to partner with us to find projects in the Sebastopol area. And out of that grew joining with or finding out what other service groups like Rotary in the area are doing. So far, we have come together with the City of Sebastopol, the Active 2030 Club, of course, our Sebastopol Sunrise, the Rotary Noon Club, the Kiwanis Club, the Gravenstein Lions Club, the Sebastopol Grange, the Veterans of Foreign Wars, says Gold Ridge, 3919, Eastern Star, Sebastopol Masonic Lodge, and the Seropolis of West Sonoma County, and also St. Stephen's. So far we have 12 service groups in the area that are doing good works and that are possible to join together with us to do something in our community. So far what we've done is polled the groups and found out what each of us are already doing and seeing where we have crossover. In the future, what we're looking at coming up, it's I could back up a little bit. Co-Mission, which works with the city, is organizing all of this because we have so many groups working together. They've done a terrific job of taking notes and feeding back to us a survey of what's going on so far. Now, what our next move here is to poll the community for needs. And in that, we're putting together the Sebastopol Community Needs Survey. Once we find out what the needs are, we'll be taking a look at what we can do to contribute to our community and get the Rotary name out there, and with the other service groups and with the needs. Anyway, I find it rather exciting. And of course, we'll bring all of this back to our club and get the opinions here and where we want to go with this. I find also, I kind of see this in the future, moving to another visioning. We did that a number of years ago and it was very successful. And I'm thinking, once we pull all this together, this is a good segue into another visioning in the next year or so. Anyway, that's where we are so far. We're gathering information. That's, I guess that's where we're sitting. And it looks like it's going to be very successful. I'm rather excited about it.
Great, thank you. Yeah, Diana is part of this, and David Mark Raymond and I, the three of us, because as president-elect and nominee, and we'll keep you all posted and keep the board posted of what we come up with, but it's really exciting.
Yeah, I wanted to say one more thing. I really want to thank David. He has done a terrific job of reaching out to other service groups and bringing them in. He's been a great contributor on this one. So thank you, David.
Right, thank you. So Michael McLaughlin, do you have a quickie update for the Community Services Committee?
Quickie, I thought you wanted 15 minutes.
Well, you know, how much time do you have? We have 7.5.
So the Community Services Committee met on Monday. By the way, we meet the first Monday of every month at 5:30. The Zoom link is on the website and everyone is welcome to attend. I think the big thing that came out of this meeting on Monday was the Adopt a Road program, which the club is going to be taking on. Is Bill Sauber here?
Yep. Yep.
Bill, why don't you tell them a little bit about the road that we've adopted and how it's going to work?
Okay. After discussing a whole bunch of different options, we decided to go with High School Road from Eddy Lane, which is just the edge of the city limits, to Occidental Road, which will pick up the corner where Boleto has taken Occidental Road from there all the way to just past Boleto Vineyards to where Bravo Toro is. So our section is about 1.2 miles, just over a mile. And we're doing both sides of the road. We picked that for a number of reasons. Number one, it's relatively close by. Number two, it's a relatively safe road. The travel speed is not all that high. There's a nice wide shoulder, and yet it's an area that gets a fair amount of trash. A lot of fast food containers there. I guess it's probably kids going to the high school. And down at that last corner, just before you get to Occidental Road, there's a little turnout there, a little break in the road, and frequently people dump stuff there. So it's a place that we can keep an eye on and make sure. We wouldn't actually be picking up the really big stuff like that, but it's something that we pass all the time frequently, and we can call on the county to pick up the big things that end up down there. But it's a relatively easy place to go. It'll take probably 8 people, 4 per side, 8 to 10. And we'll do it 4 times a year. And it will be done, the sign will read, Rotary Club of Sebastopol Sunrise in memory of Lou Hopfer.
Great. Fantastic. And we are, so we're applying to the county now for the designation of that road. And as soon as we get an approval, we will schedule our first cleanup session.
Great.
Great.
Thank you.
Beyond that, we're have a session at the Redwood Empire Food Bank on the 17th from 1 to 4 p.m. The sign up is on the website. We're also looking at a couple of other things. There's a possible opportunity to join with the Sir Optimist in an Easter egg hunt program. We're still looking for more details on that, but that's a possibility that we may get involved with. The other thing I'd like to point out is that on Thursday morning at 10 a.m., the city of Sebastopol is doing the official grand opening of the Libby Park Playground. It will be broadcast live on the Facebook account, city's Facebook account at 10 a.m. And I will be there representing our club. Dan Rasmus will be there representing the Noon Club. And again, it will be televised, broadcast live on Facebook beginning at 10 a.m. on Thursday morning. That's about it.
Thank you. That sounds like lots of good stuff. Even though we can't meet, we still have lots of stuff going on, which is exciting. And here's another thing I ran across, because now Rotary Foundation has the avenue or the area focus of the environment. And this is a presentation on Wednesday, March 10th. I pulled this off Facebook where there is more information. So if you're on Facebook, you could go and look for the ESRAG Facebook page, and it'll give you the information to sign up for this. Or if you really want to know, shoot me an email and I'll give you the information if you're not on Facebook. But this is just one of those wonderful opportunities that we have now because we have Zoom. We can do these meetings. It's great, sharing information. So the week in review, well, I'm a little thin. So it's who has happy bucks? We have about 5 minutes for people to be happy about something. please. Oh, come on.
Well, I have.
Whoops, whoops, whoops.
Since we have been in Eastern Oregon in October, traveling in the backcountry with our Sprinter and finding it sort of inadequate, we've made a shift to go to a four-wheel drive vehicle. So consequently, we have a rather large, big truck now. But, you know, needed to shift resources. So sold my small truck, the Ford Ranger, and sold the Sprinter. So that's, you know, the culmination of doing all the detail work and all the, you know, cleaning and everything that went with that, and ending up with money in your pocket makes me happy. So we're going to be hitting the road for Death Valley for a couple of weeks coming up here in March. So
Nice.
we're going to give everything a workout.
Nice. And what are you going to do in Death Valley?
Well, it's actually, you know, it's certainly Death Valley, but it's the environment around there. And Amargosa River goes through there, and there's a lot of bird watching, and there's water there, right? So there's an opportunity to possibly, could be some blooms happening by that time, first week in April, and certainly there's going to be good bird life down there. And then just the outrageous, just dramatic scenery of what happens in Death Valley, from the lowest part in the continental United States to Telescope Peak and the Panamints, and we're going to Saline Valley and Hot Springs there. So it'll be really fun. We're going to meet up with another couple that have their four-wheel, and we're going to go adventuring.
Nice, nice. Well, I see Kathy Rogers, you have your kitty.
Yeah.
So this is
the fireplace isn't on. PJ, there's a great hotel in Death Valley. It's like one of my favorites. It's like from the old Hollywood era. And it's got a fabulous swimming pool. They don't even heat it. It's just lovely.
Is that Furnace Creek? Or
yes.
Yeah, that's a great spot. They have good campgrounds there too.
Oh.
Okay. Well, Joe, you have something.
I do.
Oh,
I do. And I don't want to sound like the little boy who cried wolf, but I retired last Friday.
Officially, finally.
Liar.
Yeah.
We'll
I'm going to work a little part time, maybe 8-10 hours a week. They're going to pay me for at least continuing to tell them where the bodies are buried. And but yeah, it's been a couple of days already. Kind of feels just like it did before, but I had a preview of it, played golf with my good friends Nick and Michael on last Thursday. And I certainly got my money's worth with numbers of strokes and ground covered.
But he played amazingly well.
Were you triple digits or double digits?
The man crushes the ball.
Or how many
stopped
balls
counting after a while, but
well, Joe, now that you're officially retired, I'm not playing the first 9 on Thursday, so 8:30 a.m. Northwood for you.
You're not playing the first 9. What do you mean? Just play 9? That would work. Golf's like I told you, it's about 6 holes too long. I'll let you know, Michael.
Okay, great. Thank you. So let's go to the lucky person. Who was number 29? Michael.
Number 29. Number 29 is Marnie.
Marnie.
Yep.
Here's your ticket. I will scratch it during our program and let you know if you won, which don't hold your breath. So now we have our program, and I see Sarah is here. So I will stop my screen share. And Michael Fells, are you doing, or Charlie, who's doing the introductions? I see Michael is unmuting himself. Michael Fells, you're there you go.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I completely dropped the ball on this. Charlie, do you have the information we need? Well, maybe, okay.
I don't see Charlie.
Okay, maybe we'll do a self, I'm really embarrassed. Sorry about that. Self-introduction, sorry.
That's okay. I'm very good at self-introduction, so it's not a problem.
Okay, great. I apologize for that.
No problem. Thank you all for having me here to speak to you about our newest pilot project under the organization of Sonoma SAS, which is Safe Agriculture, Safe Schools.
Oh,
And before even, I'm sorry?
That's exciting, because I wasn't sure what your topic was, but
great. Well, it's good that I came on at 7:50 and saw your slide, because the project we've created and we're piloting in West County is actually a nature-based solution for carbon offsetting. So we're actively doing that while also doing fire fuel load mitigation, creating community resiliency, and trying to help, agricultural, particularly the wine industry, shift to a way of management in which they are going to be safer against fires and have less loss, which we're hoping will be the implementation of animals to allow them to quit using synthetic chemicals. So that's to just give you an idea of what we're doing. Oh, and Nicole Warwick, who is the executive director of Sonoma SAS, co-executive director of Sonoma SAS, just joined on as well. So she's here to answer questions at the end. And I'm going to go ahead and start the presentation. So
you can share your screen if you want to.
Yep, I'll share screen in just a moment.
Okay.
So I'll go through this, but and we'll have time at the end to answer questions. But if I'm on a screen or talking about something in which you have a particular question at that moment, I think it's fine with me for you to interject so you don't forget questions, or it may help me clarify something if there are questions. Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. So our project is a project of Sonoma SAS. It's about wildfire prevention using ancient tools and indigenous knowledge to build fire-safe communities. We're trying to give rural residential communities tools, and agriculture and schools tools for their own fire safety, which is so critical at this time. As fires are here, they're here for good. We need to have the tools to manage a fire ecosystem, not just think about firefighting. So I'm just going to tell you first, start out with a little bit about Sonoma SAS, which is Safe Agriculture, Safe Schools. Sonoma SAS was launched in 2018 with the goal of coordinating efforts to reduce the use of synthetic pesticides, herbicides, insecticides, rodenticides, and fungicides, all of these synthetic chemicals in Sonoma County. We are particularly through agriculture and schools, but also with residential homes. We are a coalition of community organizations paving the way for safer land management around our schools and communities and agriculture. Sonoma SAS provides a healthy alternative to dangerous pesticides. So one of the things we wanted to do as an organization, rather than just be attempting to be policy driven to take away the tool, which so many people know how to use, we wanted to come in with resources and with tools that provide a different way to do it and help people understand why the synthetic chemicals doesn't actually help you with fire safety, and be supportive in that way. So Sonoma SAS doesn't just focus on eliminating and researching. We also promote model solutions like organic, regenerative, climate land stewardship to increase carbon sequestration, reduce erosion, and decrease toxic exposure for people, wildlife, and the environment. One way we're doing this, and this is what I'm here to talk to you about, is our pilot project in West County, which is based around community grazing cooperatives for healthy, fire-safe, and climate-smart land stewardship. And again, this project is a nature-based solution for carbon offsetting, because when you bring in the grazing ruminants and they're managed in the way we help these communities manage it, they get passed around a neighborhood. Every time they graze an area and move on to the next area, when the plants begin regrowth, they're through photosynthesis, they're grabbing all the atmospheric carbon out of this, out of the atmosphere into the soil where it's beneficial. So grazing ruminants, it's not just the grazing, it's the management that's critical. So the movement, which naturally happens in a grazing cooperative between neighbors, is actively sequestering carbon at a very big pace. We can do it in the forests, we can do it on the grasslands. What people don't always know is open pasture, open range lands, when managed through ruminants like this, actually have a huge amount of carbon draw. So it's not just trees, it's also grasslands that are very beneficial in our nature-based solutions. And we're also mitigating our fire risk by doing this type of management. We're trying to kind of mimic the herds of elk and deer that were always here. We're mimicking the way they moved, and we're supporting rural residential communities to have the tools to do those things.
Huh.
So our vision is primarily, one of our biggest pieces is we want to give people tools to not have to use synthetic chemicals to feel safe in their neighborhoods, in their homes. We're piloting this project in West County because it's one of the only places in Sonoma County that hasn't burned. It's a place that if it burns will be very scary. And we have communities out there that are afraid of living there. Little roads in, little roads out. One tree comes down, how do people get out? So how do we create fire safety? So we're without synthetic chemicals. So we're looking at fire fuel load reduction and public safety, climate justice and social equity, because we also know that the lower income rural residential neighborhoods do not have the tools and do not have the support to keep themselves safe. We're coming in and giving them a model in which they have very little to no financial output, but yet they become safe and they become a neighborhood and support each other or community. Environmental stewardship through animal husbandry and community resiliency. One of the pieces we're adding to this, as a neighborhood starts a community grazing cooperative, we also help them and collaborate to help them have an evacuation plan as a community. So they know who's going to do what. The first hour is the most critical time during evacuation. Everybody knows their role. They know who to support or who will be supporting them in the movement out of there and how to stay safe as a community. Because we know that it has to be the whole neighborhood. It can't just be one home. It has to be everyone for there to be safety in fire fuel load reduction, but also in any evacuation. So we go into vineyard management because we're looking at communities being safe and healthy and through the community grazing cooperatives, but we also want to talk about vineyard management because I was able to go see a couple of different vineyards that were right next to each other, very close to each other. One was used Roundup for weed abatement, and one of them used sheep. So the one that used Roundup had really, really bad burns, a lot of damage to the vines. All of his drip irrigation was burned because the fire came up higher, so he had to replace all of his drip irrigation. Almost all of the trees around his vineyards were completely burned. So this is a chemical based, because even though there had been Roundup sprayed, you still have, dry weeds, and it just roasted his whole vineyard. So his loss was pretty dramatic. And just the labor to redo, he was able to save a lot of his vines, but the labor to redo everything is going to cost him a lot of money. And then right next to him was a vineyard grazed with sheep. And you can see the fire went through this vineyard as well. And you can see down below on the picture on your right, where it really took that forest out, that's the neighbor's place. But their grapevines had very little damage, even though the fire smoldered under. They had no loss to their drip irrigation system. So they have no manual labor to do any repairs or any of that kind of stuff. And it actually was a nice, soft, temperature-wise burn in which it added microbial activity to the soil rather than decimating the soil. So when the fire burns hot, the first 6 inches are killed in your soil. When the fire burns at this rate, you still have a little dry debris. You actually, in a fire ecosystem like we live in, it actually added nutrients to the soil rather than decimating the soil. And yeah, they used sheep through this vineyard. And you can see the fire came through, but they were saved. In this particular neighborhood, I don't have the pictures up here. Their home was saved because they grazed around their home with sheep. And another neighbor that has goats, their home was saved. Everybody without livestock, their homes were gone. It was off of Los Alamos Road this last summer or fall. So, actually I do have pictures, sorry. So here's what happened with the livestock and fire in the same neighborhood. So you can see the fence lines. You can see where the fire came in as soon as it hit the fence line where the sheep were. And even though the two things look very similar to us, the ground looks the same. Somehow the animal impact, which we need to do more research on, I think we will as we begin to actively bring animals in for fire fuel load reduction. CAL FIRE is actually funding grazing for fire fuel load reduction. People are seeing and witnessing the beneficial impact of the animals on the land through appropriate management, but we do not yet have the research. So we don't exactly know why, but my thoughts are, being an animal husbandry person, that their hooves do aerate the soil. They also add a humidity factor through urine and defecation that if you are just using mowing, you're not going to get that kind of humidity in the soil, which will stop a burn. But this fire came through hot and heavy. As soon as it hit the fence line, it stopped where the sheep were. So the animals do a really, really, really good job at fire fuel load reduction and keeping homes and neighborhoods safe from fire.
Yeah, and Sarah, I just want to
Yes.
make a quick comment here.
Sure.
I remember being amazed with, I think it was the Kincaid fire, Safari West. One of the reasons it survived was because their fields, their hills were so heavily grazed.
Yeah, agreed. We're witnessing that in almost every fire where the animals have come through and where the grazing has happened. The fire didn't do damage. It still came through and it will smolder, but it doesn't like just decimate your trees. It doesn't take down your dwellings because the animals do this really good job of creating the space for a fire to come through without being devastating by the way they graze, by the way they aerate the soil, by the way they humidify the soil. I mean, again, these are my assumptions because we do not have appropriate research yet, but we do have a lot of experiential, like you said, Barb, with that. It's all of these fires, we are seeing that the animals stop dangerous fires from happening. They don't stop fires, they just stop it from being a horrible, devastating experience.
Yeah. We'll take it.
Yeah. So here's the community grazing cooperatives are an idea of giving rural residential neighborhoods the tools and empowering them with the skills and the knowledge to manage their own fire fuel load, while at the same time connecting these neighborhoods into communities. A lot of the neighborhoods that I've gone in and helped start community grazing cooperatives have lived there for 20 years and did not know their neighbors. As soon as we brought the livestock in, the neighborhood became a community. They knew each other by names. So it's not just about fire fuel load reduction. It's kind of a holistic vision of bringing people together because we are not safe from fire without being able to take care of each other and help each other. So that was a big piece of it. So I want to talk, these are just some cute animal pictures. Sheep and goats and cows, they all are very, very, very effective at doing fire fuel load reduction. It just depends upon where you are. What's growing in your area. Our pilot project in West County, we're primarily using goats because it's forest understory and we need the goats to eat that ladder fuel like willow, blackberry, poison oak, bay startup trees, all this kind of stuff. So goats are the best at that, although you can incorporate some sheep into it as well. And when you have a little sheep and goat, it's called a flurd, just for knowledge base. So our West County, yeah, it's a flurd. So we're starting a lot of flurds all over the county, which is kind of nice. Yeah. And then you get to say flurd, which is even more fun. Our West County Community Grazing Cooperatives for Healthy, Fire Safe, and Climate Smart Land Stewardship Project is an innovative grassroots community-oriented solution that addresses the risk of fire, a warming planet, and social equity in West County. Our goal is to build resilient, fire-safe communities while promoting regenerative land management. And the other piece I want to bring into it, we've also connected with Clint McKay and Peter Nelson, who are both local Indigenous people, who we've found funding to pay them, and they're going to support us and guide us in appropriate land stewardship in all these paths as well. So we're trying to bring in historic knowledge to make sure we are stewarding appropriately in our fire ecosystems. And we're bringing back the historic knowledge of those people. And we feel very blessed and very lucky for them both to be a part of this project and be participating with us. And that is the end of my presentation. Wow, I went really quickly. Sorry, guys. So just started talking. So we're hoping that by providing a healthy alternative to using dangerous pesticides to reduce fuel load, this project delivers a win-win solution for the landowner, the soil, community, and the planet. So again, it's kind of a holistic vision, and it's a nature-based solution, and it's holistic, and it's bringing all the pieces together and serving them all at once, rather than kind of pulling out one piece and trying to use that as the way to do things.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Questions?
Yeah, questions.
Sarah, with the shift that we've had in the last 50, 60 years, both automotive, automation, and based, do we currently, locally or other regionally, have an adequate network of veterinary services that deal with large animals?
We do. We have 2 great vets that have, we have Katati Large Animal, which has 5 vets. 3 of them are women. And then we have Sonoma Large Animal, which has 4 vets as well. They're very accessible. They have very good tools. They will come visit you. And we also have University of Davis if we have larger expenses. So we have a great you got to remember Sonoma County is heavy in livestock.
Yeah.
So we have the support for livestock systems. We just need to get the hooves on the ground, and we need to have the people that own them have the skills to take care of them. And that's what I'm there to do. I help and support them with all their questions and comments and get them connected with the veterinarians, the sheep shearers, if they have sheep with wool, I help them know how to trim the hooves, you know, so there's a system, and we have a lot of support in this county for that, which is great.
Sarah, I'm interested.
Sarah, this is Charlie.
How you get the sheep and the goats to discriminate between the ground cover that you want them to eat and the vines in the vineyard, which you think would not take kindly to being chewed on.
That's a great question for vineyard management. So in vineyards, we never use goats because goats, never, that's against the rules. Goats are browsers. They go up and they want to eat the tree limbs. That's why they're so good in the forest, because they will get all your fire fuel loads about 6 feet tall, and they will eat all the twigs and branches and everything. So they do a good job of that. Sheep in the vineyard, it's about timing, and you need to be paying attention. So the sheep go out in the winter when there's grass before the grapes start to bud.
Right.
So the sheep work is definitely about timing. And that's why it's helpful. And I have I have a couple of friends who do graze vineyards, and I have a couple of friends who own vineyards and have their own sheep for the management. And they're happy to help people get started and be the knowledge of support. So sheep, it's about timing. It's about putting them in and paying attention. When they get the grass down, you move them to the next place. So you have to keep moving them. If you leave them without food, they will start to nibble on the grapevines. So they go in the winter when you don't have budding, and you move them, because sheep are grazers. They want grass. They don't lift their heads up very often unless they run out of grass to eat.
Okay, thank you.
So it is a sophisticated system, and it definitely takes someone paying attention and moving them at the right place and time.
Okay, so Charlie.
If I have yes. I hope you can hear me now. I don't have a question. Yes. I do have an apology to everybody, particularly to you, Sarah. I couldn't make my darn microphone work. And so I'm sure the introduction I prepared was the most brilliant I've ever done. I apologize. And one of the pieces of that is I did want to mention that wildoathollow.com is a store as well. And there's some really interesting natural products there, including fiber and skincare products, both for men and for women. And it's a pretty cool place to check out. So, but again, I apologize. And next time I'll test my audio before the appointed time.
Thank you, Charlie. And yeah, thank you for the store. Wild Oat Hollow is my business, and I do make all of my products all of the ingredients are sourced from our watershed. So everything's completely local and supports carbon farming. So it's a system of trying to bring us back to a local level as well.
All right. So
I have
Al,
a question.
Lustig,
I have a question, Sarah.
No, yeah. Jim, wait a second. Al had his hand up. So Al.
Yeah, thank you. When using goats for around the forest, which are steep and dense, I live out in Occidental Camp Meeker area. I can't see goats out here at all. You know, it's just too dense. And how are you going to keep them contained? You know, I guess fencing, but that's why I'm asking.
Sure, that's great.
Exactly some of these problems you're talking about with single lanes to get out in case of fires.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you. And that's all about the management. So one of the biggest problems with our current wildfire situation is we've had about 100 years of wildfire abatement. So anytime there's a fire, we put it out. We stopped the indigenous people from burning. You know, we can go all the way back to that. They were prosecuted for burning. So we thought wildfires are bad. So now we have this massive amount of growth and understory, which is why our fires are so dangerous. So that's a very great question. So I will tell you that it depends. There are some places and there's very sophisticated grazers, and I have the knowledge as well too, where we bring portable electric fencing. Sometimes we do have to come in with some chainsaws to cut some stuff down to get the fencing up. There are some forests I've walked in which the trees are, a bunch of little tiny trees like this are so close that we almost need to have a little mechanized work. And I have a friend who's an arborist who does this for a living, to just open up the forest understory a little bit for us to get goats in. Now, if it's super thick with blackberry and poison oak and stuff, the goats will take care of that. Yeah. So we come in, we set up the portable electric fencing. You have a solar power thing that keeps it going, you know, that powers that fence, which keeps coyotes out and keeps the goats in. And then they come in, if there's really, really thick blackberry, we might bring a piece of plywood in and just put it on the blackberry, and the goats stomp on it and climb up there and kind of beat it down. So we give them the tools to do the work that they may not be able to do. They eat all that stuff. If you can bring in more goats, they actually are going to do better work. So 10 goats on an acre, it's going to take them a lot longer. They don't have the impact, but if you had, say, an acre of heavy understory and you brought in 50 to 100 goats, they would just take it down. Just take it down, because they stomp on everything. And that's what you need sometimes, is just high impact. So it takes the knowledge of a grazer, or myself, if you're starting a community grazing cooperative, to help you have the tools and know how to use the animals to get your land looking the way you need it to look. And sometimes it does take some mechanized work, some chainsawing and some chipping, if the trees are, because they can't take down big trees, obviously.
Okay, so Jim Glom, then we have Charlie, and then we have Michael Fells. So Jim Glom.
I have 1.5 acres. Will you bring fencing and goats to my property and take care of it? Because I paid a lot of money for mechanized
yeah, I bet. So there are grazers that will. I at this time am not a contract grazer. Those are the people that come out and do the work for you, but I can give you information. John Roach is one of the ones that does goats and that kind of land really well. And I can put it in the comments. He's building a website now, but I'll put his number in there. He is actually a firefighter for Inverness. He knows how to make your land safe for fire, and he does it with goats. And he will come in and chainsaw if it needs to be done. He puts up the fencing, the goats do the work. So you can pay someone like that, where I kind of provide a different service. I help you with the tools, or your neighborhood with the tools to build your own set of goats and to do the work yourself. So there's lots of different options.
Can you use a rope? Can you use a rope?
To tie the goats up, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, the problem with that is they'd get eaten.
They eat the rope. Okay.
No,
so
the animals would eat your goats. The goats would get eaten really quick if you just had them tied with a rope.
Okay. So
we use the fencing to keep them safe from predation.
Okay, Charlie?
Okay, so yeah, that was actually my first question, was about potential problems with predators that, particularly out in these rural areas where you're working, are not uncommon.
Correct.
So thanks for that. But also, I believe I saw a website that is sort of a cooperative thing, and it was mentioned in the Press Democrat, that's a dating service for landowners and great.
Yeah. I'll see if I can get it up in the comments. So there's Match.graze.
Yes.
What is it called again?
Match.graze.
You see the comments? It's in chat.
Nicole did it as well. So it's Match.graze. And yeah, it's like Match.com, but with graze. And you can reach out to, there's grazers on there. I don't know if John Roach is on there though. So let me get you his number. Because he's kind of flies under the radar, and he's working on a website right now. But that's a way to find people. You know, there's not always grazers that come in and do small acreages. John Roach is one of them, because there's a lot of cost in coming in and doing 1.5 acres. A lot of grazers say 7 acres or more to make it worth their time to bring in their animals. But you could have your whole neighborhood hire, like if everybody has 3 or 4 or 7 acres, you could have your whole neighborhood hire somebody who services your whole neighborhood, and they'll do the work, and you just have them do it. If you don't want your own cooperative, which entails you're doing the work. So you can utilize it that way. It doesn't have to be one person getting the service.
Okay, so Michael Fells, and then this will be our last question.
Sarah, I wondered if SAS was doing any work in the west of Cazadero area, like Walala Ranch, Seaview Ranch, that area. Do you know?
We currently do not have any pilot projects out there, but we would be happy to talk to anybody who was interested in it. Our current
Okay,
pilot project is in Forestville, just outside of the town of Forestville. It's where the last fire hydrant is, so it's a really good place to start, because if we can get them healthy and safe from fire, the fire trucks can land there and use that fire hydrant.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we're starting and trying to build out the newest one in West County, but we are happy to come out to anyone who's of interest in starting one of these and talk.
Great.
That's what we're here for. We're happy to come and talk to anybody. We do have grant funding from the Rose Foundation, from Fiber Shed, and from Globetrotters Foundation. Because we are a nature-based solution, a lot of those places are funding us, but we always need more funding as we're trying to help people get started. And a lot of these are low-income rural residential communities, and we want to make sure they get started safely with, and the finances are too difficult for them. But feel free to reach out to us and we'll come chat.
Okay. Very
Great.
much.
Thank you very much. This has been wonderful. Really appreciate your coming. I love watching the goats just attack the Scotch broom, the poison oak, the blackberry.
I love it.
So thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
And I hope to see your goats in my neighborhood.
Yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yep. Okay, so now I'll go back to sharing my screen. But first, Marnie, I saw an empty chair, but guess what? Marnie made a liar out of me. Here's her scratcher. She won $25. Woo-hoo! So I will pop that in the mail to her so she can redeem it.
Does she have to split that with her sponsor?
Pardon?
Does she have to split that with her sponsor?
Good one. A good one. Okay, so Nick, do you have a way clean joke for us?
I have a three.
Orchid, by the way.
What's that?
That's an orchid.
Oh, it certainly is. I have three quick ones. If toast always lands butter side down and cats always land on their feet, what happens when you strap toast on the back of a cat?
They eat it.
The second one, lawyers believe a man is innocent until proven broke. And the last one, men are like linoleum floors. Lay them right and you can walk all over them for 30 years.
Are you the voice of experience on that one?
I only read what I'm given.
And you say, yes, dear.
Yes, dear.
Yes, dear. Thank you. Joe.
Here we go. Happy trails to you. Till we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling on the bed. Happy trails to you. Till we meet again.
Okay, so stick around. Marnie, did you hear that you won?
Was muted, but yes, thank you very much. I'll take it. Thank you.
I'm
off.
Yo.